Hello, good morning students. In our previous class, we have discussed the closed packing in 1 dimension, 2 dimension and 3 dimension. And we have discussed about octahedral voids and tetrahedral voids. Today, what I am going to discuss is very important. This class and next class, I am going to cover 3 derivations. In that 3 derivations, one derivation is damn sure for your public examination. So that means, I am giving 3 marks. I am giving 3 marks. Sorry, I am teaching 3 marks in today's class and next class. Let's see here. What is the topic? Percentage packing efficiency. In solids. Percentage packing efficiency in solids, which is very important for 3 marks. Damn sure a question will be there on this topic. If you refer previous year's question papers, in every question paper, a question will be there from this topic. So 27th question. You refer 27th question in your previous question papers. Okay. Sir, what is this percentage of packing efficiency? So first suppose if you take a box, okay, you take a box, it should be like a unit cell, right? Now start arranging tennis balls in it. Just imagine the situation what I am teaching here. You take a box, okay, and arrange tennis balls in it. So you completely arrange, you fill whole box with tennis balls. First layer, maybe on first layer 6 balls or 9 balls you arrange. On next layer 9 balls, or next layer 9 balls. Like that, you filled the entire box. Will you say the box is 100% filled? Will you say the box is 100% filled if you arrange like that? So you just imagine now this room is 100% empty. Okay, let it be. This room does not contain anything. This room is 100% empty. Okay. Now what I will do is, I will start adding balls in it. I'll bought some footballs and I will start arranging in rows and columns. Like that I filled floor. Then again I kept one more layer. Then again I kept one more layer. Then again I kept one more layer. So like that if I go on filling all the footballs in this room, so will you say this room is 100% occupied? The volume of this room is 100% occupied. Will you say like that? So definitely it will be wrong. So there will be some voids. There will be some voids, gaps. In last class only we had discussed octahedral voids and tetrahedral voids. So here what I want to say is, in solids the particles are arranged. In solids the particles are arranged. We had discussed in 3 dimensions square close packing, hexagonal close packing, right? So if particles are arranged, what happened? There will be gaps in between the particles. There will be gaps in between the particles. Those gaps are said to be voids. Those gaps are said to be voids. Now we are going to discuss how much space in a unit cell is occupied by particles and how much space is left empty. That is nothing but packing efficiency. Okay, understood? So I'll show you once again here. Let's suppose this is a box. This is a box. See, I arranged the particles in the box. Is this box 100% occupied? No, right? Why? Because these are particles. Of course, the box is filled with particles, but what about the gaps? So there are empty spaces. How much gap is there? How much percentage of gap is there? And how much percentage of unit cell is filled? That is nothing but packing efficiency. That is nothing but what? Packing efficiency. So, packing efficiency can be defined as the percentage of volume occupied by particles in a unit cell. The percentage of volume occupied by particles of a unit cell is called as packing efficiency. So what is packing efficiency? It is nothing but percentage of space, or you can also say percentage of volume occupied by particles in a unit cell is called as packing efficiency. Is called as what? Packing efficiency. Now we are going to discuss the packing efficiency of unit cells. I hope all of you had understand. So what is packing efficiency, right? It is the amount of space, or it is the volume occupied by the particles in a unit cell. So let's calculate packing efficiency in each of the unit cell. So I already told you, very important this is. Primitive unit cell. Are simple unit cell. Primitive unit cell are simple unit cell. So now we are going to calculate the packing efficiency of primitive unit cell or simple unit cell. That means in a simple unit cell, how much percentage of unit cell is occupied by the particles and how much space is left unoccupied. Okay, you all know what is primitive unit cell or simple unit cell. We had discussed a unit cell in which the particles are present at corners. Okay, so here I will draw the simple unit cell. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is primitive unit cell. A unit cell having particles only at corners. That means the lattice points are present only at corners. Remember here, for understanding purpose, I had shown you the particles with gaps. Okay, I had shown you the particles with gaps. But in actual, the particles won't be like this. The particles doesn't have these gaps. They touch each other. Are you following what I am saying here? So actually, for understanding purpose, I had drawn the simple unit cell like this. But in simple unit cell or any other unit cells, the particles does not show gaps like this. Here gaps are there, no. These gaps will not be there in unit cell. The particles touch each other along the edges. In simple unit cell, the particles touch each other along the edges. I will show you here. So I will show you. You observe only top. You observe only top. I will draw top here. So actually the particles are in contact with each other along the edges. Yes, actually the particles, these are the particles. I'll put A, B, C, D. These are the particles which are present at corner. See, I am showing you the topmost particles. 1, 2, 3, 4. These four particles, actual position is like this. They touch each other along the edges. Here, for understanding purpose, I had shown you that the particles are not touching each other. But in fact, in actual, so what happens? The particles touch each other along the edges. Are you getting right? Yes. Now let's see here. Let the edge length of the unit cell. Let the edge length of unit cell is equals to A units. See, edge length of unit cell is A units. Edge length of unit cell is A units. So if one edge is A, then all the edges are equal to A units. For a cube, all the edges are equal, no? That is why let the edge length of unit cell is A units. Okay. Now, let radius or radii of each particle, let radii of each particle be R units. What I have taken, here, the radius of any particle is R units. From here, this is the center. From here to here, it is radius, no? This is R. If this particle's radius is R, this particle's radius is also R. So here, the particles are of same size. One particle is small, one particle is large, not like that. Here all the particles are same. So that is why I took let the radii of each particle be R units. Once again, so I took a primitive unit cell. In a primitive unit cell, the particles touch each other along the edges. Okay. Then let the edge length of the unit cell be A units. Let the radii of each particle be R units I took. Then we know that in primitive unit cell, the particles touch each other, along edges. So we know that in primitive unit cell, the particles touch each other along edges. See, AB is the edge. AB is the edge. The particle, these two particles A and B are touching each other along the edge AB, right? That is, here the length AB is nothing but edge length, that is A is equals to, from here to here R, and from here to here R. So that means each edge length A is equals to how much? R plus R. Is it correct? Are you following what I am saying here? So here in each edge, so the particle is touching each other. So that's why this is R and this is R. That means each edge is equals to how much? R plus R. That is 2R. A is equals to 2R. A is equals to 2R. Okay? Understood, right? Now, total volume of unit cell. Now, total volume of unit cell is equals to volume of unit cell. Volume of unit cell. What is the formula for unit of a cube? Volume of cube is A cube. Volume of cube formula is what? A cube. Right? So that is length into breadth into height. Volume of cuboid formula is what? Length into breadth into height. Here length is A, breadth is A, and the height is also A. Therefore volume of cube is what? A cube. That is equals to what is A? 2R. 2R whole cube. Is it correct or not? Yes. 2 cube is 8R cube. 8R cube is the volume of unit cell. Understood, right? Volume of unit cell is 8R cube. Next. Volume of each particle. Volume of each particle is equals to, particle is in which shape? Spherical shape. What is the volume of sphere? Formula. Volume of sphere, mathematics. Yes. Volume of sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Volume of sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Total volume occupied by particles is equals to, in a primitive unit cell, how many particles are there? We had calculated number of particles in a unit cell. In primitive unit cell, how many particles are there? 1 particle. Please refer. Number of particles in a unit cell. In FCC, how many particles are there? 4 particles. In BCC, how many particles are there? 2 particles. Refer previous classes. So, I clearly explained the number of particles in a unit cell. So now you can see here, so total volume occupied by the particles is equals to, in a primitive unit cell, how many particles? 1 particle into, so volume of each particle is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Note down up to here, so I will calculate the packing efficiency. Note down till there. Okay. So now you can see packing efficiency in primitive unit cell. Packing efficiency in primitive unit cell is equals to total volume occupied by particles, total volume occupied by particles divided by total volume of unit cell. So total volume of unit cell to the total volume occupied by the particles. Total volume occupied by the particles into 100. Why I put 100? Because we have to find out the percentage. We have to find out what? Percentage. How much you will get? That is equals to 1 by, so that is equals to 4 by 3 into pi. Pi is nothing but 22 by 7 into r cube. 4 by 3 pi r cube. That is the total volume occupied by the particles divided by total volume of unit cell. Total volume of unit cell is how much? 8 r cube. R cube gets cancelled. 4 ones are 4 twos are 2 ones are 2 11 are. Find out how much percentage you will get. Here don't forget to put 100 because we are calculating percentage. Percentage will be calculated always for 100, right? Yes, that is equals to, if you solve all these things, okay, I hope you are solving, right? Find out how much percentage you will get. So 11 by 7, that is 3 sevens are 21. Ah, 11 by 7, 11 by 21 into 100. So you will get 52.4%. 52.4%. So understood? That is, in a primitive unit cell, so if the entire volume of unit cell is 100, in that 100%, 52.4% space is covered by particles. Remaining percentage is void, that is empty space. Understood? So therefore, void percent is equals to total volume of unit cell is considered as 100% minus how much percentage is occupied by particles? 52.4%. So that is equals to, what about the void percent? That is 47.6% is void. That means in a primitive unit cell, 52.4% is filled with particles and 6% is empty. Understood? So any doubts here? So this is very, very important. So today we had calculated the packing efficiency in primitive unit cell. If you finish this, I'll go for next unit cell, that is FCC. Have a note of it. So totally you can write diagram like this for this. No need to write two diagrams like this. One diagram is enough. Yes, this diagram is enough. Particles touching each other on the edge. So like this, you have to represent 8 particles. No need to represent 8 particles. If you represent 2 particles neatly, it's enough. So for understanding purpose, I have written those 2 diagrams. Okay, now I will move on to the packing efficiency in face-centered unit cell. Okay, so is it clear, right? So packing efficiency in second one, FCC, face centered unit cell, face centered cubic unit cell. Okay, or it is also called as packing efficiency in HCP, hexagonal close packing, hexagonal close packing, or you can also say packing efficiency in cubic close packing, cubic close packing. So all the 3 are one and only same. Every year so many students confused regarding this. If they ask packing efficiency in FCC, they will write answer. If anybody asks packing efficiency in HCP or CCP, they won't answer. Why? Because they will study only FCC, FCC, FCC. You should remember FCC or HCP or CCP, for all the 3, the packing efficiency is same. If anything out of these 3, if any one appears in your examination, you have to write the same derivation what I am going to do now. Understood, right? So now I am going to calculate the packing efficiency in FCC or HCP or CCP. So let's see how FCC is. Already we had discussed about face-centered unit cell. Once again, for understanding purpose, I will show you how FCC unit cell will be, right? An FCC unit cell contains particles at corners as well as at face centers. See here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So FCC unit cell contains particles at corners as well as face centers. I will draw the particles at face centers with blue. See, up one, down one, left side one, right side one, back one and front one. So like this, totally there will be 6 face particles and 8 corner particles. So now observe only this side particle. See, I will take this face A, B, C, D. So you all know a face-centered unit cell will be like this. For understanding purpose, I am taking only one face. I am taking only one face, that is A, B, C, D. I will draw here. So same. So A, B, C, D. For understanding purpose, I had shown you the particles far away from here. So there will be no gaps, right? So actually a face-centered unit cell with each face will be like this. So that means the particles will meet along phase diagonals. The particles will meet along phase diagonals. Are you following what I am saying here? I took only the face. So A, B, C, D here. So in that phase A, B, C, D, the particles were actually like this, not like this. There won't be gap. So the particles will meet along phase diagonal. Here BD is said to be phase diagonal. The particles will meet at phase diagonal. By combining these two, I draw simpler diagram. So which you have to draw. Actually, no need to draw these two diagrams. For understanding purpose, I had drawn this. So actually, you have to draw this diagram. See. So I am showing only 1, 2, 3, these three particles, 1, 2, 3. We need only phase diagonal particles. So that is why I am taking only the particles at phase diagonal. So this blue colored one is the particle present at phase center. Yes, this diagram is more than enough. Okay. Now let's see. I'll derive the derivation here. Let the edge length of unit cell, let the edge length of unit cell is equals to A units. So how much edge length? Edge length will be A units. If it is A units, then all the edges will be A only. Why? Because this is a cube, all edges are equal. Therefore, for any edge it will be A units. Let the length of face diagonal is equals to, let the length of face diagonal is equals to B units. See this one. Here BD is there, no? BD, diagonal BD. I took it as B units. This BD is nothing but B units, right? Let the radius or the radii of each particle be how much? R units. R units, right? Yes. We know that in FCC, the particles meet at phase diagonals. Right? Phase diagonals. That implies B is equals to, see here, from here to here it is R, right? You can neatly observe, here to here it is R. R plus, this is diameter, right? For second particle, you can clearly observe this particle 1 R will be on body's phase diagonal. For second particle, total diagonal will be on phase diagonal. That means R plus diagonal is nothing but how much? 2R. R plus 2R is how much? 3R. So this is 2R, right? So from here to here again R. R plus 2R. 3R. 3R plus R is 4R. B is equals to 4R. From diagram, right? From diagram we know that in phase, in FCC the particles meet at phase diagonals. Therefore from figure B is equals to 4R. Will you agree? Why? Because this BD is equals to B. BD is equals to BD I took. That implies B is equals to R plus 2R plus R. B is equals to 4R. Right? Note it. I'll continue. Note it. Up to here, note it. Finish it, right? So give this as equation 1. B is equals to 4R. Give this as equation 1. Next you see, but in triangle ABD, angle BAD is equals to 90 degrees. Because this is a cube, see this looks like a right angle triangle. AD is perpendicular to AB, right? That's why BAD is 90 degrees. Is it correct or not? Yes. Therefore by Pythagoras theorem, you all know Pythagoras theorem will be applicable to right angle triangle. As this angle is 90 degrees, then ABD is like a right angle triangle. Therefore, by Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square, that is BD square, is equals to sum of the squares of other two sides, that is AD square plus AB square. AD square plus AB square. That implies BD is nothing but B square. Why? Because BD is nothing but what I took? B. So B square is equals to AD is nothing but A. Why? Because it is an edge length. A square plus AB is also an edge length. This is also A square. A square plus A square. That implies B is equals to A square plus A square is 2A square. If square is sent to that side, it will become square root. That implies B is equals to root 2A. Give this as equation 2. Give this as equation 2. B is equals to root 2A. Give this as equation 2. Understood, right? From equation 1 and 2, B is equals to root 2A. That is root 2A is equals to, there we got B is equals to 4R. That is 4R. So here also B, there also B. That's why when RHS are equal, then LHS are also equal. That's why root 2A is equals to 4R. That implies A is equals to 4R by root 2. A is equals to 4R by root 2. R A is equals to 2 root 2 R. A is equals to 2 root 2 R. Make a note of it. Make a note of it. So you can note up to here. I will continue in next class. Okay. So I will continue. So you should note up to A is equals to 2 root 2 R. So then again I will find volume of unit cell, volume of each particle and total volume of particles. Finally we will get packing efficiency. Please make a note of it up to here. So see you and see you in next class.